The factory produces prosciutti over 20 varieties of salami, coppa, pancetta, and mortadella. Our journey begins with prosciutti. The Mount Olive prosciutto follows the oldest Italian tradition. The environmental characteristics of the place of production and the air, in particular, are an essential element for its quality. This is why Beretta chose Mount Olive, a very similar area to the one in central Italy where the best prosciutti have been produced for centuries, among the sweet hills touched by the sea breeze. Fresh products arrive at the plant, and once having assessed the requirements of the specification, are trimmed, massaged, and salted. The salt dosage control suitable for storing the product is carried out using 2 scales on the working line. The conservation environment is characterized by low temperatures and high humidity to promote salt penetration. After a week, the hams are exposed to a second salting that helps to perfect the first. Only the operator's experience allows the ideal management of this crucial phase. At the 3rd week, the groomed ham is ready for pre-rest in a ventilated environment and then at rest without ventilation. The purpose of these phases is the progressive extraction of humidity, resulting in a total weight loss of about 20%. Here, 75 days from the beginning of the work, the cold phase ends. Once washed, the hams are transferred to drying cells for a week. This is how the hot phase begins, characterized by temperatures between 15 and 20 degrees. When the outside climate allows it, the rooms are naturally ventilated. The air of Mount Olive, thanks to existence of lakes and hills, offers an ideal balance of humidity and temperature that the enthalpy system allows to exploit. The system brings the outside air into the rooms whenever its conditions are optimal. All this translates into a beneficial effect on the quality of the ham and on a reduction of the environmental impact in terms of energy consumption. Around the 7th month, to maintain its softness, the ham is sprinkled with a natural product of tradition called suet. The cork protects it, avoiding to dry it too quickly, allowing its typical slow maturation that exalts its aromas and flavor. In fact, time is the invisible but essential ingredient of every excellent ham. The hams rest for 12 months. At the 12 months, the stagionatore of Mount Olive performs the olfactory ritual test, unchanged over the centuries, with the introduction of a bone needle in different parts of the ham. In fact, the bone retains the perfume for a moment, allowing the expert to express his final judgment. Only after the approval of the stagionatore, the application of the Beretta's brand seal can be carried out. This seal established the absolute excellence and uniqueness of the Mount Olive's prosciutto. In Mount Olive are produced over 20 varieties of salami, characteristic of the Italian tradition and of its historical recipes. The raw material, different for each recipe, is weighed and subjected to an initial check. The meat is then grounded and kneaded with a mixture of ingredients provided for each product. The dough, after a period of rest, is backed into casings of the size suitable for each different type of salami. The sausage is tied or clipped. The salami then passes to the fermentation and drying phase for a week at about 23 degrees and to the seasoning stage at 16 degrees for a minimum period of 30 days. Mount Olive produces coppa and pancetta, cured meats typical of the Emilian tradition. The cup is made from a pig's muscle that is salted dry with a mixture of spices of the traditional recipe and massaged to allow better absorption. After resting for at least 7 days, the coppa is bagged, wrapped in a string of twine, and tied. The product dries in a ventilated environment for at least 7 days, or until the typical flowering appears. The pancetta, on the other hand, is rolled and bound only after being salted and enriched with aromas. Coppe and pancette age at temperatures between 10 and 20 degrees. Also in this case, the aeration of the cells is managed by the enthalpy system. Finally, at Mount Olive, a very particular cooked cured meat is produced, typical of the Italian Bolognese tradition, the mortadella. The lean meat is grainy and finely chopped to make it soft. Then, a small amount of fine fat is added to give the correct flavor during cooking. The ingredients are blended with a mixture of spices provided by the recipe. Then we proceed with the bagging in artificial cellulose casings. After being bound, clipped and hung, the mortadella is cooked in the oven until the internal temperature of the product reaches 71 degrees. When cooked, the product is showered to quickly lower the heat and then cooled in the cell at a temperature below 6 degrees. We then enter the crucial phase of the production cycle of each cured meat, slicing and packaging. Each cured meat is prepared differently. The salami and the coppa are peeled, the prosciutto is boned and printed. Each product entered the world only after this preparation and has been put under vacuum. Beretta, whose first packaged product dates back to 1967, has always been a leader in the production of the cured meats for large-scale retail trade. Leadership is also expressed at the technological level. Beretta has introduced the use of clean rooms, overpressure environments with controlled humidity and temperature. A system of absolute filtration and air recirculation prevents the contamination of the product during the slicing and packaging phases. To ensure maximum safety, all employees wear sterile workwear and access the clean room only after a series of washes and changes of clothing. The cured meats are tempered to reach the ideal temperature for slicing, uniform between the heart and the outside. The product is placed on a scanner that detects its size, weight, and shape. This data is transmitted in real time to the slicer, so that millimeter by millimeter, the machine is in possession of all the information concerning the portion of product on which it is operating. The aim is to make the weight of each slice as uniform as possible and to control the weights of the portions in a capillary way while they are gradually being composed. The speed varies from product to product, but remains substantially between 600 and 1,500 cuts per minute. The slicer automatically composes each portion, arranging the slices as required by the final package. Each portion is weighed to guarantee the declared nominal weight and then moves towards the thermoforming machine. A film reel enters the mold to be thermoformed and become the lower part of the bowl in which the moving product is deposited for the application of the upper film. Before being sealed, air is extracted from the packaging and a protective atmosphere is added to optimize the conservation of the product. From here, the bowl comes out of the white room. Then proceed to the labeling, to a control with metal detector, and to the new weighing. Each individual package is then subjected to a final visual inspection with camera that verifies its quality. The camera automatically checks the suitability of the closure, the position, and the accuracy of the label. The robotic system picks up the verified products and proceeds to the creation of the packaging for the subsequent storage and shipping phases. With the upgrading of production capacity guaranteed by the Mount Olive factory, Beretta is present throughout the entire American territory.